VR headsets I think so.
So,
We know.
so,
Mhm.
so Donna told you that so it's 2:30. Everybody's pretty much here. We'll go up on stage, take the picture, hand it off to you, and then at the end, after questions, I'm just gonna send them to the next place. You've been in the talk. You know how it goes.
Wonderful.
Hey,
So
can you
Christian,
please move?
Dan, can you talk
Thanks.
now? You can totally talk now. You can totally talk now. So
That's
ask
okay.
a good
No problem.
question. And if you ask a question this time and type it out for me, I'm totally gonna make up something ridiculous and say you said it. So you better hope your mic works.
awesome.
We're just gonna do. Yeah. Dan wants to know, Austin, do you
Crowd,
like
I love it.
Chewbacca or do you like BB-8 or something like that? No. Uh-huh. Okay, let's get up on stage. We're gonna take the photo, guys. Not you guys.
Please join us on stage, presenters, ringing presenters, join us on stage.
Hey,
Also, let's get your amplifier ready to go too.
Amplified.
Nice.
presenters,
Right,
a
Timber.
little center yourself so that everybody can surround you, but in the photo you'll be centered. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Hello,
welcome,
Dominic.
everybody. Especially, emote if you've been to more than one talk today.
Hi.
Emote if you've been to the conference, doing fun
Woo!
stuff, dance party, keynote,
No.
right? Okay, guys, here's what we're gonna do. We always started off with a photo. Thank you for coming to a Students in VR conference. We want to commemorate this moment with a photo. We'd like to thank educators of VR for being wonderful support for us, for the American Indian Resource Center for providing headsets all over America so that students can be involved. We're going to invite you up for a photo before we start because we want to see that you were here. You make this possible by coming to see us. So I'm going to open up the stage, and you guys come up and don't be in front of somebody. You know the drill. Come on up. Awesome.
Nice.
And then we
Love it.
a moment.
I love stages.
Who we got
I can
out
get
there?
straight
Marty,
started.
come on up. Eva, come
And
on.
just
I see
get
in our
it
photo
going.
ad, Luna. Come on, guys. Bodie man. He's probably not even in his headset.
Okay,
on.
so my camera takes a couple seconds to kick in. So I'm going to start doing emojis. I'll try and do a bit of a countdown, but please don't stop doing emojis until I say stop, okay? So
Hey, guys.
everybody get started.
Alright, let's go, emojis. I'm just gonna do hearts.
Come on, Rami.
Bunny ears.
Four,
You guys got
oh,
bunny
you
ears.
guys, it kicked in already, and I got the shot.
She got it.
There
All
you
right,
go.
guys. Awesome job. Thank you for that.
I look like a dummy, but I look
It's
like
awesome. I'm gonna kick you all off stage now.
There's no
Go find your
haptic
most
feedback for
comfortable
high
place
fives.
in real life and
All
in
right,
our
guys, we're going
virtual
to
world.
start.
Mute you all.
Okay. Thank you
Okay,
so much,
everybody's muted
Angelina.
now, and
Okay.
Paula does
All
this
right.
for a living, so she doesn't need me. At the end, stick around. After questions, I have some more information for you. Take it away, Paula.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Angelina. Awesome. All right. We're all getting into our positions over here. Oh my God, what an awesome crowd. Welcome, everybody. So I'm so excited for today, you guys. We're going to be, you can go ahead and start the slideshow. Timber, go ahead and start the slideshow. We've got so much awesome content to go through today, so we're going to keep everything nice, tight, and efficient and just get the show going. My name is Paula Paulino. I am the Chief Innovation Director for XR Pioneer. We're based in Shenzhen, China. And today I have the awesome opportunity to introduce to you guys an awesome, talented group of students, part of these amazing programs at Ringling College of Art and Design, which is located in Sarasota, Florida. I'm actually also an alumni from Ringling College of Art and Design, so this is also like near and dear to my heart, and I just can't believe that, this awesome opportunity to get to come back to Ringling in this virtual way and be able to mentor students from there to join us today. What the students are doing there is amazing. They, in their game art and design program and in their virtual reality development program, they are using immersive technologies to not just for entertainment, but also for non-gaming experiences, such as helping support the medical field. And I don't want to give away because they're going to go through it all with you guys. But I also wanted to mention that something that I really find really amazing about this program is it's one of the first full majors in an art school in North America, full on bachelor's degree. I know and their facilities are amazing as well. Like they're using Oculus Rift is all assigned to, are assigned to each student, and the type of opportunities and courses that they're going through, they're actually being given the opportunity to fully collaborate with the industry. As y'all know, this is all new for all of us equally, all across the world. So I think this is a really great example of how this program is utilizing, leveraging all of our ideas together as we explore this technology. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce the first group. We're going to have Tyler and Jared come join us on stage. They're going to talk about their awesome game. Go ahead, guys. Woo! Show some emoji love.
All right. Well, thank you for the awesome introduction, Paula. My name is Jared Ryzian Frank.
My name is Tyler Bivens.
And this is Glitch Out VR, the making of a VR game. Next slide, please. Can you go back to the teams, please?
I can't actually see the slides. Is there a tech issue?
I can see the slides just fine. Well, this is the teams page. Here we have our 5 starting members. Tyler, Vivian, Sung, and Connor. Next slide, please. Although our team may have started small, our project has gone through numerous iterations. Starting out as a bug-killing game called Verminator, we then went all the way to collaborating with a studio called Flight School to produce Glitch Out VR, which will hopefully be coming out for Oculus systems within this year or possibly next year. Next slide. All right, when constructing our game, or when constructing any game, you want to keep in mind what the game looks like, how it feels like, and how it plays like. And what we mean by that is how you want it to look retro science fiction, but still play like a chaotic arcade VR game. When you're pitching your idea to random people, such as here, you want to be very, very open to criticism. Your idea isn't going to grow unless you're willing to change your idea or potentially even scrap it entirely. And if we can see this very, very, very initial proof of concept for how our game started, it should autoplay. When the video is done, please do a clap emoji or a heart or something to tell us that it's done, please.
Alert. The power is out.
And the whole purpose of this was to introduce what our idea was to Flight School, to the rest of the GA faculty, just introduce the idea of repairing a space station in VR. That our team constructed, and all of these work in virtual space. Obviously, we iterated upon them later.
Wait, weren't we supposed to be on the ship?
Sorry about that.
You're good. All right. And the purpose of showing you the video is to show how far we've come, from a Chrome nightmare to where we are now. Tyler, would you like to take this slide?
Yes. So getting into the research phase, we wanted to get an understanding of the market, as well as exploring different game mechanics, as well as the different art styles. Oh, can you guys hear me? You guys can hear me? Awesome.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Cool. Cool. So the main point of going into the research phase, we wanted to get an understanding of the market, the different art styles, and the different game mechanics.
Next slide, please. Whenever you're constructing a game, you want to keep in mind how you're interacting with the space and how you're moving throughout the space. In VR, we felt it was necessary to keep the player stationary. Otherwise, if you move them around without their consent too much, then they might get nauseous. And During the pre-production phase is when you want to get all your references, how you want the game to look like, all the previous things that we already explained. Tyler, do you want to get this one?
Getting into the reference pools, we use two different things such as PureRef, which is free, and Pinterest. And with that, we were able to collect a ton of references that we would use later on throughout the pre-production phase.
After we got our reference, we start to 2D drawing. Regardless of the media, you always want to translate your idea through drawings or through some sort of concept art so that you can tell people how you want the characters to look like, how the environment looks like, how the various props look like. All these things should be translated through drawings usually. This is just more of our concept art. When we were doing our concept art, one thing that we kept wanting to do was what's called modular set dressing. Modular set dressing is the idea of using the same models over and over and over again. So you might have the exact same vents over and over again. You might have the ant bots, which are our main enemy. Almost all the ant bots are the exact same model. We just use them over and over again. And obviously the ant bots have gone a long way since their concept art. Very important. Oh, sorry. You want the other one?
Yeah, so going through the iteration phase and the game design, we made sure to focus on the different aspects of the ants and how they would move around the space. And as we progressed through the design phase, we focused on ideas so that way we could create a better sense of what we wanted to go for, such as going from an engineer's room to an actual server room, which is grandiose in scale, and the lighting gives us a better experience of what we wanted.
So even if it's a whole level, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You want to learn to let go of ideas when they just are boring, or if you can have more, like, better lighting in one situation or more story connection in another. All right, these are the visual effects for the game. The whole point of visual effects is to highlight actions that are already going. For example, the ice grenade here is going to have a completely different hit reaction than the electricity, and you want to make that obvious through the effects that are coming out of it. The ice grenades, its whole purpose is to slow down or cool down things, so we're going to give a very frosty, frigid air explosion when it goes off, versus the electric blaster, when it hits something, it's jolting it with electricity. It's very violent and explosive, so we want to have bolts of electricity shooting off of it.
So game design, what doesn't work? Overwhelming the player space and having everything as a flat color. When you're going into the VR world, everyone's going to be amazed by what's around them. So you want to be able to lead their eye, which gets us into what does work.
Allowing the player to have isolated moments that they're clearly supposed to focus on allows them to sort of tune out everything else that's happening and focus on the objective. So if I want the player to focus on this thing that's in need of repair, I'm going to use visual effects to have it on fire. I'm going to have audio cues of alarms blaring. I'm going to have our little companion here, T001 tool, tell over and over, like, hey, you need to do this. Hey, you need to do this. Hey, you need to do this. You want to have a bunch of cues to tell the player what to do. You want to sort of lead them by the nose a little bit.
So getting into the gray box phase, we wanted to play around with the actual designs that we took on, such as the locomotion and shooting and throwing objects. What you can see here in the actual concepts is that we wanted to have the player space feel confined, so that way players don't have to move around to get the tools to access, and then use the actual game progression through the outer environment.
It's all about turning your concept art into a 3D environment, sort of a skeletal framework, versus the polishing phase, which is all about applying a skin to that skeleton. Now you want to add in the voiceover. Now you want to add in the visual effects. Now you want to add in the things that'll make it memorable.
So getting into the modeling aspect of it, this is where the bare bones coming down to taking that gray box, taking your vision, and actually putting it out there. So what you see here, we have the main tool, which is your multi-tool or the blowtorch that you would be using. Whereas with the larger scale aspect, where it was taking up larger screen space, which is the main computer, those are the type of things we wanted to focus on in terms of level of detail, how many times you're going to see it, and how close it's going to be towards the player.
The textures and materials is all about applying that skin I was talking about earlier. You take the 3D model and then you make it the same color, the same material, the same shininess. You want to turn the model, all the polygons that make up the model, and then give it a color. So why my shirt's red, why my hair is brown, etc.
The last thing we focused on was the optimization phase. We notice in VR, sometimes you get motion sick if your frames drop below 90. So our goal was to optimize our game with a high level of detail, but keep our frame rate above 190. Or above 90 and keep it to 100.
Mm-hmm. All right, and this is a more up-to-date gameplay fly-through of our game. This is after all the polishing, all the optimization, and all the textures and materials are applied to the models.
So from there on, we took everything that we had, we combined it together, and now it comes down to getting out the publishing phase or the gifting phase. For us, the gift was actually being able to work with other team members while at the same time creating a publishable asset, which, as you can see here, we took the base logo that we had and turned it into a polished logo, custom made, all a gift from Game Design or in Design Center.
So even though we've gone through numerous different iterations, the core designs of repairing a space station in VR have always been prevalent, regardless of the name and regardless of who we've been working with. An important part of any team is healthy communication. We primarily communicate through email, Discord, and Zoom.
An important note that we took away from all of this is the importance of being able to stay up to date with your due dates, your milestones, and your goals. You always want to set a goal for yourself, and for us, we wanted to set a goal for each date to tackle and have something ready to present when we go into our meetings.
And this goes along with the healthy communication I was talking about earlier. Yeah. All right, and I believe we're done for now. We'll take questions at the end. So, hand it off to...
All right. Wow, awesome job, you guys. Please show them some claps and hearts, okay? Amazing work. Beautiful graphics. I loved it. Up next, we have our second group of team VRD, Virtual Reality Development Team here. Let me get them on stage. We've got here Timber, Rolling, and Megan. They're gonna, oh my gosh, I'm also excited for this presentation. They've also collaborated with the industry. I'm gonna let them have it. All right, go ahead, guys. The floor is yours. You got it.
Okay, so yes, Rolling and I, my name is Timber Robert, and
Hi, I'm Rolling Shu.
Yeah,
my
and
partner
we were both
Megan
virtually...
could not make here. Sorry.
Yeah, some technical issues. Yeah, Rolling and I are both virtual reality development sophomores at Ringling College of Art and Design, and we were fortunate enough to be able to pair up with Moffitt Cancer Center in Tampa, Florida, to create a virtual reality experience, and we will explain what that is here now. Tyler?
I'm not controlling slides.
Okay. Well, I guess I could do it myself.
Jared?
So to start off with, we were able to split up into different teams to work on the Moffitt project with. Rolling and Megan worked on their own team. I worked on a separate team, and there were two other teams that decided not to present today. So take it away, Rolling.
Okay, next slide. This is what we're going to talk about in our presentation. Next.
Introduction, background,
Introduction.
all the way to the conclusion. Well, the conclusion is going to be at the very end. So, introduction.
So for the introduction, we'll talk about how this project started. Next. After much talk and careful consideration, Moffitt Cancer Center had approached Ringling College of Art and Design with a collaboratory opportunity for us to be our students. We took a trip to visit the facility and learn more about the opportunity. Next slide. So overall, this quote taken from Dr. Shara Hoff, one of the key advisor of this collaboratory, it sums up the goals that Moffitt had coming into this collaboratory. Next slide. So we would like to give you all a brief background on what Moffitt's radiation therapy process looks like for those who may not be familiar with their radiation therapy. So this machine combines both a traditional LINAC machine and an MRI to apply radiation to a specifically drawn target area where the cancerous tumor is located. And using this machine requires that patient follow a specific set of rules. What you see on the slide is during treatment, patients are expected to remain still. They have to come to appointment on an empty stomach and then breathe on command.
Yeah.
Next slide.
With the radiation therapy, the reason why the MRI LINAC is being used is because it's a much more advanced and it's a very new piece of technology, and it's more efficient than previous versions.
I'm going to stop you guys just for a moment. Can I just get some emojis? If you can see the slides. If you can see the slides, can you emote? Okay, and stop. Stop emoting just for a moment. If you cannot see the slides, can you emote? There's just a few. Just 1, 2, 3. There's more people that can see that than cannot see. So for those of you that are letting me know you can't see, we're just gonna keep going. Okay, go on, guys.
Okay, so there's a problem here, and it's that patients find themselves fearful of the for their appointments, because of this. So we began to ask ourselves, how can we help? Now going on to the goals and mechanics. Upon identifying the problem that Moffitt has been experiencing with their patients, we had begun to set our primary goals for our experience. Breaking it down, we have 3 key points. We want to have the simulation. We wanted to have it to simulate, educate, and reduce anxiety. After much thought and consideration, we had come to the conclusion that our experience would best serve as a visualization and simulation of what the patient will be expected to do during treatment. Next slide. So this is our early flow chart. First, we began to map up what features we wanted to prioritize and what would be worth having in this experience. This was done physically in an exercise with post-it notes, allowing us to get hands-on with figuring out our product, rather than passively typing it all out. Deciding what we wanted to achieve, we now began to flesh it out further by breaking each step of the experience down into a low-level flowchart. Next slide. So this is our early thumbnails. We divided our simulation into 3 phases. The first one is the first row. It asks the patient to change their clothes because you can't have any metal when going through the MRI LINAC machine. The second phase is the rest of the frames in this page. It's another preparation phase that the patient goes through. The main features are what you see in this slide. Next, so this is the last phase for the breathing widget. This is where the patient will visualize the output of their chest movement as they breathe according to the doctor's voice command. Next slide. So our design process, after this establishing our goals and our focus, we now were able to oh no. Well, continue on. Our design process, you could probably access the slides later and you can see our design Bible.
Can I get some technical help here? Oh.
Okay, let's have a look.
There we go. Okay, got it, got it.
Oh, all right, great.
I'll just skip forward before.
Okay, and then here's the footage of the changing clothes simulation. Next, now this is the visualization of the information. Please click on the play to see the animation tutorial. In the simulation, this is used to inform the patient what they would expect later in the VR experience.
So if everybody can press play and give emojis whenever the videos end.
Go ahead and push the play button if you haven't. You can go ahead and start on your own.
Okay, Paula, can I get some emojis from people who can, I'm being told that there's some kind of block. Can you just emote if you were able to play or engage right now at all? Okay, so a little bit back there and over there. So, Paula, were you able to?
Okay.
But nobody.
Are we gonna move
All right.
on?
So we actually
Some
have,
people are
we're
stuck.
really, really good on time. Everyone's been doing amazing with their slide, and if there's an efficiency, if we need to, you can start from here and keep moving forward. We're totally still good on time.
Okay.
So you guys want to,
Okay.
if you haven't seen the video, we could use this time to watch it. Just push play in the middle icon play button there. Just hit that. Watch the video and then send us emojis when it finishes. Okay. All right.
I'm just being told that only the hosts, like you and the moderators, are actually able to interact with the slides. So the other people in the audience.
Live stream can't interact with them either, so we need to move on.
Okay, got it. All right
Okay,
then.
so
We're
keep
gonna
going.
be
Totally flexible, just like your guys' talk is being, and all of us are all totally flexible and move with it. I trust you guys. You guys got this.
yeah.
Okay.
All right, we'll move on to the next slide. No worries. Thanks, guys.
Okay,
Back.
moving on to other features in our simulation. We have this widget. We made it a 3D one instead of a 2D one, which makes more sense in VR. Next slide. So breathing on command interaction. This is the earlier footage of the working breathing interaction. This was one of the more interesting and complex interaction we had done. So all we are doing is tracking the patient's breathe in real time using a puck-like tracking device from HTC Vive. Next. This is our final environment layout. Next slide. This is the extension of the final environment showcase. Next slide. This is a walkthrough with an earlier version of the project. We could not get the breathing widget to work with the HTC Vive Pro tracker due to the technical difficulties during this quarantine time. The breathing widget would work as what we showed in the earlier slides in the GIF, even though this is not the latest completed version of footage, you can get an idea of how the simulation will run. So we can't show the video, right?
So we're going to skip this slide for the sake of time. And so that was Rolling in Megan's project. And this is a project that my team worked on. I was on a team with Joseph Jansen, Quinn Kusvik, and Xavier Rodriguez. And my name is Timber Robert. Just, yeah. This is who we are. These are our contact information and our portfolios. And this is Rolling in Megan as well with their contact information. So the first phase was the conceptualization, getting our ideas down and figuring out what we want to be doing and how to fulfill the requests that Dr. Hoff gave us, that Moffat wanted. So this is our flowchart, like the final thing. I'm gonna spare you the explanation of this and give you the low-level one. This low-level flowchart is the streamlined information of everything that you needed to know. And with this low-level flowchart, it basically states that the experience is a linear progression where there is no way to diverge off of the story or diverge off of the main focus. So I will be talking about the most important part about our project. We have 4 key moments and key parts to our experience. The introduction phase, the training, the treatment visualization, the breathing training, and the radiation simulation. So to start off with the introduction sequence, the tutorial stage, in other words, this teaches the user and patient what it is like to be in VR and how they should be able to interact with the world around them. For this project, since the experience is going to be focused towards older people and people who likely have not used virtual reality, because of this, we completely eliminated the use of controllers. So it's all completely look-based interaction. So to continue, all you have to do is look at yes, no, or certain buttons to continue and give and receive audio feedback from a narrator depending on your response. The second phase is a treatment visualization or informational briefing. This is where it explains to the patient what radiation therapy is, what they should expect, and also asks them a very key question of whether or not they ate 3 hours prior to treatment. This makes a serious impact on the treatment and how fast it goes and whether or not they will have to spend more time with the patient. Continuing, the next stage is the breathing training, the treatment preparation. With the treatment preparation, it's essentially a stage to help the patient gain control of their breathing and cool their nerves so that they're not as worried or freaked out. Because after a bunch of information, you bet that they're probably kind of confused. So it's best to help them relax, get calm, and gain control over their breathing. The last phase is the radiation simulation or the live treatment. The patient is put into an MRI machine and is a simulation of what it is like to be in a tight tube breathing at command, a simulation of what that is like. So as the player breathes, a sensor on their chest tracks their position of their chest, which is how much they breathe in, and it fills in this circle, and they have to hold it for a certain amount of time and release when they can't, and until that progression bar fills up completely. So going on to the assets we created for the project, we were all in charge of separate rooms just so that we could focus on our development skills and creation and 3D modeling. Xavier was in charge of the MRI room, Quinn was in charge of the doctor's office, Joseph was in charge of the computer room, and I was in charge of the consultation room. Two of these rooms, the computer room and the doctor's office, will not be seen by the player, but we have them there to help emphasize the idea that they are in a doctor's office. So for all these separate assets, Joseph created all those assets in the top left. He also created the material for the tiles on the floor, metal grate. Quinn created all those materials back there with the desk, the door, the wall texture, carpet texture, and a couple chairs. I created a sink, another chair, along with the floor and ceiling textures, which is seen throughout the level. And Xavier created the MRI, another cabinet, and some organs that will be put into the level during final complete polish. The next slide will be a video of our presentation, and as before, click on the play button, and whenever the video ends, give some emojis on whenever it stops so we can continue. So here it is. Oh, autoplay.
Welcome to the Moffitt Cancer Central Virtual Reality Treatment Experience. Before we begin, have you ever received radiation therapy before? Please select yes or no. You can do so by looking at your answer and holding steady until you hear a chime. How are you feeling today? Please select the mood which best represents your current level of anxiety for receiving radiation treatment. That's alright. Radiation therapy can be a daunting experience to go through, especially if this is your first time. The goal of this simulation is to show you that radiation therapy is not something to be afraid of. Please wait while we load you into the simulation for your therapy shortly.
We might want to move on because the live stream is not capturing any video. It just doesn't live stream the video off of Altspace, and so just so you know, it's just blank time on the feed right now. It's up to you. I defer to you guys. Some people can't see it in the space right now, and nobody on the feed can see what's happening.
Okay.
Cells from the body,
So,
reduce the size of tumors, and alleviate symptoms
I'm
of
just
cancer
forward
from
just a
the
little
patient's
bit.
body. Radiation therapy comes in many forms, including internal radiotherapy and radiopharmaceuticals. But for today's exercise, we're going to focus on external radiation therapy. This brings us to our second question.
Accuracy was amazing.
What does the MRI line machine do? In order to answer this question, we must first answer the following question. What is external radiation therapy? External radiation therapy is a form of radiation therapy in which high energy beams are directed at a patient's tumor through the use of a machine in order to reduce the size of their tumor.
They just want to do a quick check. Could you please just do a clap emoji if you could see the video? If you could see it. Okay, so still some people can and some people can't. Okay, this feed's not capturing it, but I just want to let you know the technical difficulties so you can make the best decision for you guys.
And generate the radioactive beams used in treatment.
So should we continue with the video or just
Mm,
go
you're
straight
fine.
to questions?
You're fine.
Okay.
Let's actually, we can go ahead and
For the beam.
another few seconds.
The beam is only turned on
Okay.
when the tumor
We
is
have time. We have buffer time.
95% of the beam. So it is imperative that the patient hold their breath to give the radiation therapists enough time to use the MRI Lineck machine to shrink the tumor. The final question is for you, the patient. Have you eaten 3 hours prior to playing this simulation?
All right. Yeah, you can go ahead.
Congratulations!
Okay.
You may have not realized it, but it is important to
So
not
next
eat
slide.
3 hours prior.
It's pretty much over.
Eating before treatment
Okay, yeah, true.
of your tumor and make it harder for the
So
Wonderful. Thank you guys. For those who can't see the video, no worries. We will provide the link to all the videos from today. Okay? Thank you for your patience. All right, go ahead.
Yes. So Roland, this is the conclusion slide.
Oh, so in conclusion, our partnership with Moffitt Cancer Center was a great opportunity for us as students. We hope our collaboration showcases the power behind VR solutions and how its unique technology can be utilized in a meaningful way.
We were completely honored to be able to do this project with Moffitt, and it was a great learning experience, and we hope that it actually does help patients at the
Thanks.
Wonderful. All right, awesome job, you guys. Please give them a warm round of applause. That's the expression. A round of applause. Wonderful. We're going to open the floor for Q&A. Help us out with some of the functionalities.
Panel up, and so if anybody has any questions, please
Yes.
raise your hand, and we'll call on you one at a time. And we
Yes.
have our first question. And
Wonderful.
Tim 85, you have the megaphone.
Let me get the rest of the crew up here. Tyler, Jared, you can please join us on stage. Thanks, guys.
Can you hear me?
Glitch out crew, join us on stage.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's
Glitch out
cool. That's
and
cool.
Moffitt.
Well, okay. All right. Okay. No, first and foremost, that was a pretty cool presentation and well done and good job, guys. Like, that's like freaking. I think that's like the future of technology, right? Like, I mean, people with anxiety and, or like for myself, or claustrophobic and so forth, but that could definitely help. But, so this is like, so what, sorry, I just came into the midst of this. Like my brother's an MD and he goes through a lot of things, but so this prototype, like I think you said, was it Dr. Moffitt?
Dr. Hoff.
Or Dr. Hoff. Yeah, so when is this, so in the prototype stage, is this going to be tested within like his, I guess, practice at any time? Like, are you guys going to do like a trial run or?
With the project, we were actually hoping to have patients test it while we were developing it in the prototype phase, but with quarantine, we weren't able to get anybody in, and we all had to leave the campus, so that was not possible. But ideally, they will be using this program to help with give to patients so they can use at the hospital.
Because I'm a pharmaceutical, like I work in, I'm a pharmaceutical, I guess consultant. So it's so just I don't know if you want to add me and we can roll this through. I have a lot of contacts, but the other thing I wanted to say is that how many Karens are in here? Boom. I just wanted to say that.
Okay, thank you. Another question.
A great point.
You have the megaphone.
Okay, so sorry I couldn't put emojis. My controller died, but who's the first group that went first? Or are we taking questions on the second group?
Oh, you could
Um,
ask either.
Yeah,
You
I
can ask
wanna
questions
ask,
to
whichever
anyone.
group.
yeah, I want to ask questions to the first group, but for Glitch Out VR.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, where are they?
They're right here, center stage. Come on, come on
Yeah.
up. They're right here in the center stage.
Okay. So what I wanted to say is that you know the little bot that's your companion that
Yeah.
you guys made. Does he like say the same thing constantly, or like say you do something bad, does he like say something else like wow you're really bad at this, or if you do something good he's like wow I had second thoughts about you or something?
Well, we thought it would be funny if we had sort of a satirical companion who follows you around and helps you, but he also insults you whenever you do bad. So, like for example,
Yeah.
if something blows up, he'll go like, "Nice job, you moron." I actually do the voices for our little companion tool,
One thing I want to say.
and we have comedic relief and legitimately helpful advice.
Okay, so one. Okay. Um. That's the voice for your robot, and I love the robot already. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you for your question.
Cool. Thank you.
There's another question.
This is also for Glitch Out?
There is.
This is for the MRI one.
Mm-hmm.
I was just wondering, when you said you had the puck on their chest, is that to monitor the position and keeping their chest still, or is that like actually gathering data? Is what I'm saying.
Yes.
Yes, that's a device to gather data for your chest movement. That's how we use as the import to later show that you're actually breathing in the right way.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So for
it actually
our
does,
project,
like track the motion, and you get to tell them if they're holding still properly or not.
exactly. Well, it's the reason why we use a puck that we put on their chest is so that we can track their chest position to see how deeply they're breathing.
Okay,
So
interesting.
it's directly on their sternum, and if they breathe in, it raises up. Therefore, they're breathing in. Then we track just the position in that space.
I was just wondering because people, like I've played another game where people just track whether you're breathing just by the microphone, whether it can hear you or not.
Yes.
So I was just wondering if the puck was.
I like that you bring that up because we tried to explore that, but we just could not figure it out for the life of us. For the amount of time that we had, we couldn't get it working.
Oh, there's a app called Neos VR where you can make all kinds of stuff, and people have made like joints and stuff, and if you make that sound, the animations happen and stuff. So sound-based ones are interesting.
We may have to explore that for a future project. I'm excited to use that.
Oh, it's just asking because of the if you have the puck and they're moving around, you can also implement that into the simulation where you're telling them that they're moving too much. So it's a good, a good source of extra data.
Right.
I just want to note you brought up Neos VR, and that is something that will be featured in between sessions tomorrow. So if any of you on stage want to follow up with what he said, that Neos VR will give you the ability to do what he said for future simulations. It is a good tool, and we are highlighting it in between sessions. Just look at your agenda.
Okay, cool.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. Follow up for sure.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. We have some more questions. This is great. There's some more questions coming.
Are you guys did you guys make this game?
Which are you referring to?
For the Moffat.
So are you guys ever gonna make new games like this that you're able to play on the go?
I mean, the hope is that all of us get jobs, whether producing more medical simulations or producing more video games, or just are able to continue creating interactive media. I think everyone on the stage has a passion for creating interactive media that everyone can be a part of.
Yeah. Okay. Wait, I lost my controller.
Happens to me a lot too. The crazy
Awesome.
hands.
Cool. Next question is from version 2.
Yeah, it's from me
Neutrosoft.
again. It's just if other people aren't asking questions, I can ask questions all day. So this goes to the first presenting team
Glitch
who
out.
made the glitch game. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you were saying about how you made modular designs
Yeah.
that all look the same and that kind of thing, I'm not sure if you, like, your experience with modeling and stuff, but have you looked into like Houdini, where you can make these sort of modular designs with sliders that can input
Yes.
into?
Do you want to get this one?
Yeah. So one of our teammates, Sung Ho Kim, he's very big on the technical design, and he was a very big help on creating reusable assets. So he was tasked with using Houdini to actually create different unique objects, such as wires, different tiling abilities, such as the different tiles that you see in the game. What he did was he went inside Houdini and created different little designs that would be used on the actual walls and the floors, and something that each person could use on their own.
The server room, actually, the server room in particular, almost all of those blocks, like all those blocks of machines that you saw in the main room, almost all of those were created in Houdini and then exported into Unreal.
Okay. And sorry, before I just get muted again, who was talking about the Neos VR and the schedule or whatever? I just want to add you and get like a reminder.
And so this Students in VR is holding the conference, and if you go to studentsinvr.com, it has all of the talks, and it will give you a link to a live stream from Neos VR. It's one of the things that we're...
Okay. I actually know the guy who invented and developed it, so if you want me to talk to him, you can let me know as well.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Great.
Wonderful. Thank you. All right. I think that's okay. We've got your question. Actually, we have time for a few more. If you have any more questions, we can take it just on the floor here. We actually do have a little bit of buffer time before the next talk as well. So yeah, we can just come to the floor. We can mingle and you can get to know the students a little bit further. And I think some people have questions for me as well. So yeah, just come on down. Mingle, chill time.
Paula, there's not going to be a talk after this is the dance party.
Oh, then yes, if there are any questions, please just hang around and come up to us. I don't see anybody. Just raise your hand right now. Okay, good. Okay, because I didn't see any. Okay, I do have a question coming in. All right, we have David. David, let me go ahead and select Diamond. Diamond, I need you to. Oh, got it. David, you're on. David, you're on.
How do I become how do I make an event? I did not.
Miss Angelina, would you like to take this question?
If you want to come, we will definitely, there are plenty of people in here all day, every day. All they do is create things in VR. And we're going to talk specifically about their talk right now, but stick around and go to the dance party, and anybody in this room will tell you, they'll talk your ear off about VR because that's all they do to their spouses and their partners and their parents all day long. So just follow us to the dance party. Paula's got some more questions to answer.
Yeah,
and
we have two more
will answer
questions
for you.
Thank you so much, David. Thank you. All right, next up we have Sim D85. Sim D85. You have a question, Sim D85?
He's got me mute.
You're unmuted.
Karen, I'm already talking. So this part, you said it tracks frequency and so forth. So what's the if I'm masturbating, like can you track the frequency in blood flow?
I don't think that's
appropriate. Thank you very much.
No.
Okay.
that's not relevant.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm sorry, you all.
What?
I have the feeling that was going to happen. Okay. One more question.
Okay, hi, it's me again. This is for the people making the MRI one. Did you guys ever think about using immersive, like 3D video footage from a camera of the actual process? So it would, like, psychologically, it would be a lot more, like, it would bring someone's anxiety down if you actually had, like, the doctor in question come in to greet them in sort of like a 3D video kind of thing in front of him.
Right. So essentially, what you're asking is if there is the use of a 360 video that allows the user to be actually in that space, but
Yeah, that's right. So that's like when they
right.
walk in, they're familiar with they're like, oh, I've seen this in VR, and now I feel a lot more comfortable being actually in
Being
it.
with the with making a 3D video of it, that is a very strict use. So like the player is unable to control anything other than where they're looking, and uh, at least from what I understand and what I've seen people using, I don't think it's currently possible with our current technology at Ringling College, but I am interested in getting a 360 video, getting 360 video capture of inside the MRI machine so that it would feel more immersive.
There is a dude doing 3D video holographic kind of stuff with 2 Xbox Kinect cameras, so I don't know, maybe you could look into that too.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Wonderful.
Yes. In fact, one of those people will be at the dance party. So good transition time, Paula.
Yeah.
It's really great. Transitioning everything here for everyone.
This is perfect. I think we are out of time. We only have about 2 minutes. Is that time for one more question, or do we want us to head on to the next event? Angelina, what are your thoughts?
Let's take one more question, and then there is going to be somebody at the dance party with the holographic Connect thing. So I encourage everybody to go. Let's take another question.
Oh, right.
Wonderful.
Cool.
We have a question from it looks like Jim. Let's see here. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that's me, Jim Pickens.
All right, welcome, Jim.
Yeah, so out of all the things that you talked about today, what was your favorite part?
Who is the question directed to?
Jim.
Yeah, to Jim. Okay.
Jim, who would you like to answer that? Anybody?
Hi, I'm Jim. I think the favorite part we talked about today was when we talked about Minecraft and how it's being used in schools, because I think it's very important to learn all about, stuff like that. Stuff that may not seem as important as math or, geometry, but I think it's also important because, stuff like that really helps to get the creativity flowing, like Jamba Juice, gets it flowing.
Okay.
If Jim just asked and answered his own question, I'm very impressed. Let's go to the dance party. Let's go to the dance party, people.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for coming. All right. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you all for the presentation.
Arcade crew, we could hang back for a minute. Arcade.
If you want to go to the dance.
Or go straight to the dance party.
Ringling stays behind for a second.
Yeah, just stay behind for a second. Ringling. All right, rolling. Timber. Who's over there?
Twice. Okay.
Awesome.
Let's confirm.
What you're witnessing is a portal. A portal feature.
Timber just got disconnected. He has problems with Wi-Fi.
Oh, he just turned around. He's alive. There's life. Yeah. No, I want to say awesome job, you guys. It was like the flow, everything just flowed. There were like some videos probably didn't play back. We could check in on those later. This was, just the very first of more opportunities where you guys, we're all globally going to have a chance to kind of explore how to share and even do demos in virtual reality, or, honest feedback, thoughts about this experience, and like, how do you see this helping even like yourself or the school or, the industry or where you're headed? Just curious about, that's the exit ticket before we head out, like quick.
One thing that might be